Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of Tampa Bay Q&A on Living in Tampa Live. We're excited to be with you guys. As always, we're here to talk about all things Tampa Bay, what it's like to live here, what it's like to work here, what it's like to play here, the food, the dining, the outdoors, the beaches, and the sunshine. I'm joined by my trusty co-hostess with the mostest. Oh, I nailed it that time. So proud of myself.
You didn't stumble.
Miss Stacy Amon, good evening.
Good evening, everyone. You'll be happy to know that it did warm up here in Florida. The sun came out. We're pushing 80 degrees now.
Whew.
So all is good.
All is right with the world. And now we can put it back in order. Because, man, that was some nonsense. We got our participation trophy. That's what we said last week. We're all set with that, right?
Yeah.
Like, do not need that bad boy at all. But yeah, it's been an interesting weather week, Stacy. Like, we've been waking up in the morning and it's been like super foggy and hazy because of like it's getting cool at night still, but warming up heavily quickly. So it's been interesting. But I'll tell you what, by the time my walk's over at 10:30, the sun is shining. It's glorious outside. So I am here for it, y'all. And no, this isn't the weather report live in Tampa Bay. However, we talked about the lifestyle, the outdoors, and the entertainment, right? This is what's happening. So happy to be with you guys. If this is your first time joining us, my name is Juan Alcala. I am a licensed realtor and a team leader here with the True Living Group, where we help people just like you buy, sell, relocate, and invest in the Tampa Bay area. As discussed, we talk all things Tampa Bay. So please feel free to contribute and bring your questions to the conversation tonight. The one thing that I definitely want to do is invite you. We really try to make this an interactive opportunity, because we know that a lot of our clients have questions, but more importantly, if you're just interested in knowing what's happening in Tampa Bay, that's what we're here to do. So please feel free to say hello. Let us know where you're watching from. We obviously want to make a connection, but we've also have a great community here. I'm amazed. I can't wait to host our first event, Stacy, where we invite everybody and they all come and they get to meet each other for the first time, because it's just been an excellent experience to be able to hang out with you guys and to get to know some of you, at least online. So thank you for that. Also, for all the Zoom calls, we were going through the stats this morning. Stacy, there was 400 scheduled Zoom calls last year. Now, we didn't sit all of those calls, but there were 400. I posted it on my Instagram stories. I'm like, holy moly, that is a lot. That's a lot of people who were considering moving to the area. Now, did they all move? Absolutely not, right? Some of them are 12 months out, 18 months, 2 years. We get them all over the place. So the one thing I want to say to you is, whether you're 3 days, 3 weeks, 3 months, or 3 years out from moving away, don't hesitate to reach out to us. All right. We're here to help. So if you got questions, please feel free to contact us directly. Our contact information is on the screen there, so you can connect with us. Now, let's get into some news and notes. We've been talking about these communities over the last few weeks, and we keep trying to get to a couple of the newer communities that we wanted to show you, because we've already got clients purchasing in one of them. Actually, we got 3 clients trying to purchase in one of them. One of them was already locked up a contract, and their view is spectacular, by the way. And I know that's a big draw out there, but I want to talk about these 2 communities specifically. The first one I think that we should talk about, Stacy, which is kind of like on everybody's hot list right now. We'll and I want you to talk about the pros and cons of it, but it seems to be on everybody's hot list, is Vitas Way. And I want to say this first and foremost. When you look at the website or you look at information, I read it as Vitas Way. The sales representative said it's Vitas Way, which is what people love to do, give things fancy names when they can't spell them appropriately. Not that I'm complaining, but it's just an argument. And I would like to know how you guys would pronounce this in the chat first and foremost. All right. So here's this community. I see that as Vitas Way. Stacy, how did we get to Vitas Way?
Well, actually, it's the history of the land, because it was a cattle ranch that was owned by this generations and generations from the same family. And it was, I believe, the grandmother was Vida Depew. That was her name.
There you go. I love that. That's great. All right. So depending on where you are in the world is how you're going to pronounce that. But I love that. The historical things about these communities, I think, are awesome. You know, we talked about Two Rivers before and the history behind that. the conservation that they did in that community and still do, even though they're building new developments out there. But a focus on that and the water, right, which was cool. It was a great story. But I love that you shared that with Vitas Way. But I want to give perspective first and foremost, so everybody here can kind of understand where this community is. And I'm going to do that right after I say hello to the comments and everybody checking in this evening. So let me get into that. What is up, Mr. Cook? Good evening, sir. Hopefully Taco Tuesday is going well for the two of you. I love that. If you guys weren't with us last week, Brian let us know that they were watching from Taco Tuesday, which I thought was pretty cool. Felt honored to be invited into that into fellowship with you there. That's fantastic. Jane, good evening. Good evening, Jane. Love that. And Tim, my man. What's up, Tim? Tim up in Nashville, if I remember correctly, right? I want to make sure that I got that right. Good evening to you as well. So love that. Again, let us know where you're watching from, guys. Love checking in with you and connecting with you as well. Mr. Jenkins in the house. Brian and Treya here. Pleasure to both of you.
That Brian and Anitria are here to back me up on how you pronounce.
That's right.
Vitas Way.
I can't even pardon Anitria. I can't even pronounce Anitria correctly. So forgive me. I'm terrible at this. Yeah. But yeah, that's right. Yeah, and she did say that when we got on here, Brian, because we were talking about that. I'm like, what's the deal? Because I was like, when you go up there, we need to dial this in because it was driving me crazy. But shout out to you guys. Hopefully, you had a good experience too. Stacy, who haven't you taken to Vitas Way?
It's one of everyone. I mean, it's such a great neighborhood, and we have been waiting for, I don't know, it feels like forever. Like they had the signs up. Everyone was waiting. When are they going to open?
Yeah. Let's give them some context real quick. All right. And I'm just kidding. I think Brian's I think you guys are the fourth family we've taken up there. You have to ask Stacy, but I think the fourth family. Yeah. But let's give them some context. All right. So let me zoom out just a little bit. You know, if you're looking at the map here, I know it's pretty big to you guys. Okay. So we've got Tampa right here. This is Tampa proper. And as you travel up 275 over across 75, you're going to come up into Wesley Chapel. Now, Vitas Way is on the east side of Wesley Chapel, near Watergrass, in that area there. So kind of in between the city center, if you will, of Wesley Chapel and Zephyr Hills. Right. So that's kind of where it's positioned. It's a really nice location, very close to Epperson, right, Stacy, in terms of proximity?
Yeah. Okay.
So, you know, just a really, really nice location, not too far off the highway. You know, you're probably 15 minutes from there. Is that fair? Depending on where your house is going to be?
Yeah, maybe 10.
10, somewhere around, depends on traffic.
Yeah, you would hop on overpass. You would go to overpass.
Overpass. Yep. Yeah. That makes sense too. So Overpass Road is the road that Stacy's referring to here. This takes you right across Epperson, right through Epperson and over to 75. And you could head south into town from there, where you could head north into San Antonio or wherever you're going. But pretty easy drive. That is not a chaotic drive. There's not a whole lot of commerce on there. Most of that is 35-mile-an-hour residential, and then at some point it opens up to 45. But there's only the one gas station over there and like a car wash for right now, correct?
No, we got we got the Publix, and we have the gas station. There's Starbucks is opened up over there.
Yeah, right on the corner. But I'm sorry, I was referring to majority of this drive, Stacy. That's why it's easy.
Oh, yeah, right? There's nothing. Yeah, it's all residential. There's nothing.
Yeah, and you don't get down to that. There's that 7-Eleven with the car wash there right next to Wesley Chapel District Park.
Right. And you know what? Now that you're mentioning that, right across the street from that gas station at a diagonal is where Johns Hopkins Hospital is going to be built.
Oh, okay. That's what they're putting. I was wondering where they're going to put it. Okay. So that's great. So the hospital is going to be, Wesley Chapel has a ton of hospitals, y'all. Mm-hmm. Right. Ton of hospitals. So that's pretty cool. Thanks for sharing that. I love that. Brian said it should be Vitas Way. I'm with you, brother. My man, I read it the same way too. I don't know if that's just where I'm at. I feel you on that. And Tim says yes to Nashville. My man. Love it. Brian says Abby's out of town on business. Good news is the kids and I are still alive. That's good. Dude, that's what I tell my wife too. Don't feel bad, my man. That's exactly what I say to Kate. I'm like, well, if you're going to leave us for a few days, just know that someone may not make it. Oh, I love that. That's fantastic. All right. All right. Jane says, we are building the custom home in Land O' Lakes, Florida, and we'll finally finish in June of 2025. Congratulations. We'll be moving from San Diego and worried about hurricane season is June rainy season. Technically, I don't think June is rain. July, I think, is when it technically starts.
Well, it started in May.
Definitely starts raining. Hurricane season starts in May.
Oh, maybe that's what I'm
May through November is hurricane season, Jane, on the calendar. But we don't really start getting wet regularly until late June, July, August, September, and then October it starts to settle down. Depends on where you are in Land O'Lakes, but you are far enough off the coast where, strong winds would be the most thing that you're gonna face. Depending on where you are, most likely you're not even getting hurricane impact windows. So that kind of tells you how far you are off the coast. But again, don't know exactly where you guys are building.
Yeah, you got to keep in mind, like our rainy season, it's, we may get a downpour, but it may only last 15 minutes and then it blows over and the sun comes out and it's even hot. Yep.
Thank you, Jesus. I'm here for it. All right. So back to, and thanks for sharing that, Jane. I think that's awesome. I love when people tell us, where they ended up and how they're approaching things. So that's great. So talking about Vitas Way, we're going to go back to the website here in a sec, but I wanted to give you context. So you've got all the shopping, right? There's a Publix right on the corner. There is that Starbucks that just opened up. There's a few other things in that shopping center. Like they have the dog store, the Wolf. I can't remember what it's called, but they're like in every one of those strip malls that Publix seems to go in. The
groomer and like the pet boutiques.
Yep. CVS. You got all the stuff that you need. It's right there. Right. And you're in the Wiregrass School District, right?
Yeah. No, Wesley Chapel.
Wesley Chapel. Got it. Okay. So Wesley Chapel School District, good location. So let's kind of talk about some of these properties and why people love this community, Stacy. So, you can see when you come over to the site, it's a Pulte development, just so everybody's aware, which we would consider what type of home builder, Stacy? What do we call them?
I'd say a tier 2.
Yep. And semi-custom is how we refer to that, right? And the reason being is you're able to do a lot more customization than you are with a tier 1 home builder like a DR Horton or a Lennar, correct, Stacy?
Right.
Okay.
Correct.
Yep. What type of finishes can you pick? Like what are the options that you have on a semi-custom? They're all a little bit different, but for the most part, they're very similar.
Yeah. So on a semi-custom, you get to pick the elevation on the exterior. You'll get to make some changes. You can maybe add a bedroom or add a flex room. You can kind of switch one of those around. You can add electrical if you want to add more lights or electrical outlets. Those are always structural options that you can do. On the interior, you have your cabinets, your countertops, your floors, carpet, fixtures. I mean, if you're doing semi-custom, you can pretty much not pick any faucet, but they'll have 3 or 4 for you to pick from.
Yeah. I will say that they do a good job of not overwhelming you.
Yeah.
Right. And I think you should speak to that experience, Stacy, because I know for me, like we're going through the renovation at home right now. Right. And we have to pick everything on our own. And y'all, the stress that I've never seen my wife this stressed out before. Like, I don't understand.
Because it's such a big decision. Like, what if the vision doesn't turn out how you think it's going to turn out?
Right. So that's why I was bringing this up, right? Because we're distraught about the type of cabinets and the wall color and the flooring, and you don't know till it all goes together. So there's all this apprehension, right? But when you walk into their design centers, like, what does that experience look and feel like, Stacy, on an average day?
Well, they do give you 2 options. So you can do an option where you can just pick a package where their interior designer has already picked the carpet, they've picked the cabinet color, the countertop, the backsplash. they've already put that all together for you. So that's one simple way you can do it. And it's also an easier way to stay in your budget and know exactly how much you're spending is by just picking a package that they've already put together. Or you can go into a design center where you go and pick everything. Now, Pulte, I believe you do it in one day, but they do send you the catalog electronically so you can start studying and preparing and trying to figure out what you think you want.
Yep.
And then when you go there, there's a interior designer there who will pull everything together for you and kind of help you figure out if it's going to work, if it's really going to work in that vision that you're imagining in your mind.
Love that. So that's a good perspective. And again, I think that's very helpful for the people who do get overwhelmed about like picking all these things. Some people are super excited about it, but it is a fairly meaty day is the way that I would describe that, right? Like you're going to put some brain power into doing that and you're going to second guess your own things. But like the nice thing is having a designer there who knows what works well with those plans to kind of keep you in the guardrails, if you will, right? It's just, Stacy, it's like our role in the build process, right? Like we're there to, advise the clients, counsel them through or guide them through transactional challenges or construction challenges that they have. And like, they're there to support you in that respect. So I think that's good. But the other thing I want to get into it with when we get into the semi-custom home builders, some things start to change. If you're somebody who's looking for a set it and forget it type of thing, with very little input and you're good with what they offer, those are going to be builders like D.R. Horton, Lennar, KB Homes, Casa Fresca. Like those builders are going to give you less options. And they tend to get their homes done faster. I wouldn't say that they're necessarily a lower quality. Some are definitely going to be. There's a reason you're saving $200,000 or $300,000 on some of these properties, right? Or more. But that's not always the case. So I just want to give that caveat up front. But I do want to talk about the realities of purchasing in communities like this, because when you look at something like this, while they are running a great interest rate special right now, and that's super important to know, the thing I would like everybody to take notice of is this, right? And we want to talk to the realities of when you see pricing like this, right? It says starting from $371,990, which yes, prices, there may be one property that does start at that number, but once you factor in, right, design center choices, which the average homeowner usually adds about 12% to the purchase price in design choices. That's pretty common. That's straight from the National Home Builders website. And I think, Stacy, is that fair to say that that's probably in line with the experience out of the 20 homes you built last year? That's pretty common.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's one thing that you're going to pay more for. And then the other thing that's, that people really kind of gravitate towards are some of these beautiful lots. And I want you to kind of talk about the type of lots they have, but what they add to the cost.
Yeah. So you can get a lot. I mean, they range from like 5,000 all the way up to 100,000. Now, the less expensive lots, you're going to back up to another neighbor.
Typically smaller, right?
Yeah. The smaller the lot. So width-wise, it'd probably be like 40 feet, and wide, they're usually 120 feet deep. And then some builders will put a fence in between the two properties, but you're going to be backing up to another home. So those are obviously going to be less expensive. And then you get the homes backing up to conservation or pond view, and those can go up into, I would say, at least starting at 40,000 up to 100.
Okay. Yeah, and I think that's a great example. Sorry, the page marker won't let us work on here, but what Stacy's referring to is you see the blue in the middle there, right? Hopefully you guys can see my cursor. I know it's pretty small. That's a pond lot, right? Or you got lots over here, which are the conservation lots, and you can tell by the heavy greenery around it. That's typically, not always. You have to ask the question. Stacy's dialed in on this, but we've got a client right now building on a conservation lot where they overlook the water. It's unbelievable, the view out of their backyard. It's unreal. And based upon what how long ago was it you put that property under contract, Stacey? When did we start building that home?
Oh my gosh. Was it, I want to say September, October?
October or somewhere around October or November.
Yeah.
I think it was November. I think it was November. So, but I want to bring up something. The clients that bought that lot, they paid somewhere between 60 and 70, right? For the lot itself, correct?
Yes.
And this is why I want to bring this up. What is the same lot essentially? A few doors down. You say 3 doors down?
3 lots down.
3 lots down. What is that lot going for now?
100,000.
So
because the demand for that lot was so high.
And I don't mean to interrupt you. I want to get back to Stacey here. Stacey, right? It's because the view, you said it, the demand, right? Like I'm telling y'all, like when you want to build your last home and you get it right, you're willing to do things. And when I say that to people sometimes, like I would never pay that. And then people say that and they walk into spaces like that and they're like, all right, what else we're going to get rid of something. We'll get it later. Right. And then they make choices like this, and that is okay. Right. Like that's the thing about housing and like, where do you want to live? Like if you get to design your life, that's awesome. And some people people have the means to do this. It's not everybody. And trust me, I'm aware. I have a budget too. Right. But I just wanted to share this with you because this is one of those communities that we're literally waiting on lots. There is a line to get in these lots right now, which sounds crazy at $100,000 a piece, right? Crazy to say that.
You just can't find, like you can just look at that site map and see how many lots are actually backing up to conservation and pond. I mean, you just don't find those all the time. So, and I found something interesting this weekend. I was with clients who they really wanted like an acre lot. But we decided to go ahead and look at the smaller lots. So these lots are,
let me go back to that.
What, maybe a quarter, maybe less than that?
Yeah, somewhere around there on average.
Yeah. So we were looking at these lots and we went into a couple homes that were in the process of being built. And just to look at the view from, you know, your kitchen or your family room. And it gives you a totally different feel. If you have water and conservation behind you, you kind of forget there's people to the left and to the right of you because you're just focused in on your view and it really opens up your home. Yeah. And so now they're kind of like, well, I think maybe I could do that for that view. I could be closer to my neighbor if I have that view.
Yeah. So I empathize, right, with the challenge that people have when they come into this. But we wanted to share this because Pulte is a nationally recognized builder. Again, semi-custom. They give you a lot of flexibility on the interior finishes that you can look at the property as well. But this community is really desirable right now, and we just wanted to share this with you guys. We try to keep the things that we would want to move into or move our families into and share those things with you, right? Like Stacey and I can't move every year just to like update with everybody.
It's really hard.
Yeah, right. You just got
these houses. I'm like, I want to live here. This community's great.
Yep, exactly. And you just got done building a house, and we're in the phases of renovating our home. Like, as much as I would love to move all the time, because we're tempted with houses all the time, but I think this is important. So I just wanted to kind of go through and share, some of the community overview, like we were talking about there. Again, they've got some really good deals, so that's great. I mean, interest rates, under 5 or around 5 right now is really good, considering that we're like 6, 8, 7 or 7%, depending on what site you're looking at or what day the interest rate is fluctuated on. But I do wanted to get into back to this pricing, Stacey. So you were there today. Again, you can find a base model according to, they have to have it or they wouldn't be on this website. It's not legal, right? So 371,990, right? And whatever the lowest lot premium is, whatever. But like there were move-in ready properties there, or quick move-in. There is a difference between the two. Quick move-in means they're going to be scheduled to be completed in the next 90 days, typically. Stacey, what were those prices on some of those quick move-ins, and what were the models?
The cheapest one was $449, and it was
that was a $70,000 difference.
Yeah, it's a 2,000 square feet home, and it's the Marlin. It's a two-story.
This guy right here.
Yeah.
Okay. So 50,000, essentially 49,000 above what the starting price is here for that model. Okay. So 3, 2.5, 2-car garage, 2,068 square foot. That was the Marlin floor plan. What else did they have that was quick move in?
They have the Presswind, which is a smaller home. It's almost 1,700 square feet. You have it for $475, 3-bedroom, 2-bath. It's a single.
Sorry, y'all, I'm making everybody sick here.
Right up at the top.
Okay. What else do they have?
They have a Talon, Sonora.
That's up a little bit.
The Sonora 460.
Okay, what was the Talon?
The Talon is 472,600.
472. All right, so about a $40,000 difference on that. That's a 5-bedroom, 3-bath, right? So that's a good size house there, 2,600 square foot. And again, just wanted to share with you guys a little bit about this. We're going to get back into the comments here shortly, but really popular community. What amenities did they have in the community, Stacy?
Yeah, they're going to have beautiful amenities. They're going to have a pool, pickleball courts, a fitness center. They're going to have like a game room for the kids within the clubhouse. So they're going to have like shuffleboard and I forget what else she said, but those kind of games for, a hangout space, probably like a ping pong table and that kind of thing. There's going to be walking trails, playground, dog park. So really, really nice.
Love that. Okay, that's good. Let me get back to the comments real quick.
And they've already started that amenity center. They're expecting it to be open at the end of March.
Wow. Okay. Got it. Jane says that they're going to be out in Enclave at Lake Paget. What's and then she had another question too. Oh yeah, there it was. Jane said, my son is going to USF. Shout out to your son. Go Bulls, right? And wondering how far it is from Land O'Lakes area. How far do you think it is from the Enclave there? If you had to guess.
At least 30.
Yeah, 35, 40 with traffic, right? Yeah. Makes sense because it depends. University traffic too is like, that's going to be a different situation. TBD for you, Jane, is what I mean. You come back and report to us. I think it'll depend on what time your son's going into classes, but great question. Great question. Brian says, oh yeah, there you go, Brian. Brian says, plan on adding about 100K from the base price when you sit down and pick everything. That's, again, you just saw a $70,000 difference between that model and what it was, but that's what we see. I mean, most people are buying in the 700s, high 6s on the low end to, depending on what model, what lot. But if you're going to be buying a conservation lot or a pond lot, Stacy, you're going to be looking typically in the low 7s and up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So I think that's fair. Well, again, we always try to give you guys the reality of what it takes to do that. You can still be in the community for less, but if you're going to get on one of those, you should expect to be somewhere in that 700 range plus.
Yeah. And that's because they save those lots for the
nicest,
the larger home. Yeah. Because you need a bigger footprint. So yeah.
That's right. Yep. Makes sense. Corey, what's up? My man up in C-Bus. Good evening, sir. Good to see you. Corey shouting you guys out. Wants to know where everybody is. Vlad sent me a message on Wednesday. Sorry I couldn't make it. It was awesome. I love when he does that. He always shoots it out. But Vlad, Chris, I have not seen Sassy yet or Lobo, and nor Denise. I haven't seen Denise in the last couple of weeks here, so we need to check on her, Stacy, make sure she's doing all right.
Yeah, I know she had she had surgery or something, so I think she's down for a little bit. Okay,
well, we'll keep an eye on her. Good evening, Kevin, my man. Hopefully you're doing well. Tim says, and you can enjoy having a gator at your front door as well. He's referring to the water lots. And I mean, it's fair, man. I mean, listen, if you're gonna play in the water in Florida, you know, there's things you can be introduced to. Let me put it that way.
Well, this weekend at Vitas Way, we went walking some of those pretty conservation lots, and there was a baby alligator in the pond.
Already hanging out.
Right? We're very excited.
Yeah.
Very excited.
Yeah.
It was a baby one. So
yeah. Everybody's excited when it's a baby, and then it's not a baby anymore. No one's excited. Right. But they do it in all fairness. Let's talk about the process there, right? So like they will allow them to live in those retention ponds until they reach a certain size. Mm-hmm. And then the county will come pull them out because they obviously get to a point where things start getting a little questionable, is the way. Right? We don't want our pets being lunch for anybody, right? So like that's what people focus on. But that's a good point, Tim. You ain't wrong. Tim's lived here before, so he knows the deal. And he was up in Brooksville too, if anybody knows where the gators were hanging out, because there's lakes and stuff up there, right, Tim? I think there's like a bunch of popular water skiing areas out there. That has always been fascinating to me. I will not water ski in Florida. Love water skiing. It's not going to happen. I'm not doing that out here. I'll go wakeboarding in the ocean, which is that rational? That's what I need. I need to know from you guys, right? Is that rational? I feel like the ocean is much safer than a lake. I feel like a lake, I know that there are alligators in there that are as big as me and they need to eat. And I know that
there's a shark in the ocean.
I absolutely do. But the water is so much bigger. In my mind, I feel like there's less risk. And listen, I know that is completely irrational. There's no math behind that, but that's what I got. That's the only thing I'm holding on to, Stacy.
Well, I've been told the lakes in Florida, if it's an active lake, meaning there's lots of boating and stuff going on, that the gators don't like to hang out there.
Yeah, they don't like hanging out with us. We know the deal, but yeah, if it's gonna be laid back, you definitely bit dodgy. Jane, thank you for sharing this. So Jane said we bought our land for $200,000, for a half acre. It back is to the water and building her forever home. Congratulations, by the way.
That's wonderful.
That is awesome. I love the fact that you were able to do that. That always makes me happy, and that is it's an inspiration for sure. It definitely makes me want to chase things. So I love that. That's great. Being near conservation. Yeah, absolutely. Brian says, also know which way your home is facing. That has some effect on your lifestyle for sure. Backyard in the afternoon can be quite hot, for example, for sure. If you have a pool, having a southern exposure on your pool is always a really nice thing. Some people love having the ability to, have this chase the sun kind of all day type of thing. Some people don't want that. They'll choose an eastern or western facing exposure. The one thing I'll say is if you are going to have a pool on the north side of your house, if you have a 2-story, you're gonna need to heat that pool. Well, in Tampa, you're gonna need to heat your pool either way if you want to use it all winter. That is a fair thing to say, right, Stacy?
Yes.
But even it'll stay cooler longer because your pool will be shaded. So that's something to take consideration. Nice shout out on that, Brian. You're right. It's a preference thing. All right, it's a preference thing. Our pool faces southeast, and we get great exposure until late in the summer when it shifts, and then it moves. The sunset shifts to the northwest more than the southwest. So then it changes that a little bit. But good point, man. Good point. Okay. Melanie, good evening, by the way. Hello, Juan and Stacy. My husband is a St. Petersburg native. Our family of 5 would love it there. We're planning to move back to St. Pete for years, but don't know where to start to make it happen. Well, where you start to make it happen? You have fallen into the right place, man. Yeah, we would be happy to help you do that. That phone number right on that screen, Melanie, goes directly to my phone. This phone right here in my hand. So you can text that. Also, you can go to tampabayhomesearch.com, or in these YouTube videos, you'll see a link right to my calendar, and you can schedule a time to jump on Zoom with with Stacy and I. And we'll walk you through the process. We're here to help. So that is open to everyone. We make that available to you guys. Okay. So don't hesitate to use that. Let me put that in the chat right now, Stacy. I never do that. And I always forget. I think it's something we should do. So let me put the link in there for y'all. Making your life super easy right now. There you go. It's in the chat there. So you guys can just click on that link. Happy to help you with that process. So yeah, and St. Pete's changed a lot too. I mean, it's changing every day. It's crazy how much growth is going on there. Mostly small ponds and lakes. Yep. Cool, Tim. Thanks for sharing. He's talking about Brooksville, where he was from originally. He said, isn't there a Bible story where someone was swallowed up by a big fish? Yes, there may be a Bible story about that. Hashtag Jonah. All about it. My man, Mr. Railton. Y'all, can we just take 2 seconds and say good evening, Mr. Stephen Railton? Pleasure to see you, my brother. That's great.
Hi, Steve.
For those of you that don't know, this is the lovely and talented and the oh so dearly missed Marsha Railton's husband. So thank you, Steve, for coming on this evening. Y'all, we were you know the deal. We Stacy and I can't even talk about it because we all just get worked up. But like, thank you for all your reach outs and all your love and support for the team and for Marsha. And shout out to Steve, man. Thanks for chiming in. I will say this: Steve chose Madison from our team, who you guys will meet soon, to sell one of their properties. And it was an investment property him and Marsha had together. And he just felt like Marsha would be so happy to have that happen for Madison. And Marsha helped Madison relocate here 2 years ago to St. Petersburg. And what a full circle moment. And dude, we just want to say thanks, man. I can't thank you enough for giving her that opportunity. I know that she wanted to win so bad for you guys. So the fact that it went as smooth as it did, thank you for allowing us to serve your family again, my brother. So yeah, there's more in store for that. We'll talk about that later, but shout out to Steve. So that's the man, the myth, the legend right there. He is awesome. So if you guys don't know, make sure you connect with Steve. He's great. All right. Jason Foster said, hi guys, watching from New Jersey. Good evening, Jersey. What is up happening out there? Happy to be with you guys. Okay. So far tonight, we talked about Vitas Way. Shout out hashtag Vitas Way. We talked about Vitas Way, a Pulte development happening out in Wesley Chapel on the east side of Wesley Chapel. Great area to check out. The other one that we've been getting a lot of questions about recently, Stacy, has been one out in Odessa. Now we've got a little tease coming for you guys in Odessa this week. I can't show you the photos, unfortunately. But if well, hold on. How do we do this? Can't show the exterior. I can't mention the property name, but can we show them? We can show them the pool in the yard. Yeah. We can do that. Yeah. And I want to ask you guys. Okay. So Stacy, do me a favor. Send me the link again, will you? I know where it's at. Let me do this. Pull it up. And I want to share this with you guys because I have questions for y'all. When you think of Florida living, what I want to know is, do you think like this property? Is it like, oh yeah, that's the one I want to see right there? That kind of lifestyle, because I'll tell you right now, I'm excited for this property. Stacy, what about you?
Yeah, I can't wait to hear the feedback, because it's such a fabulous property and the location is just hands down amazing. Like, it's perfect.
Yeah, it's banana. I'm sharing this with you guys right now because I literally told the owners at the table, I'm like, if I could convince my wife to move, I'll make you an offer right now. And Kate was not going for that. Just so everybody knows, she was not having leaving the beach. It was not going down. So we don't get that option. But I would strongly consider buying that house. Now we can't on Thursday, the property goes live, so I cannot share it with you until then. But I can share a couple photos with you guys. Let me pull this up really quick. Stacy, it's unbelievable. Okay.
Yeah. And
All right.
I mean, the location of the community, the location of the home within the community is just,
It's nuts.
yeah.
Okay. The yard's so big, y'all, you can't see the boat in the backyard in this photo.
That's almost a half an acre in Tampa. That's like a unicorn.
It is at the end of a cul-de-sac, and it backs up to a farm.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And it wasn't a smelly one. I do want everybody to know that. I think I need to make note of that, right? It was a small farm, but it backs up to a farm. There's a block wall out there. It's unreal. So just kind of quick note, you're looking at the pool. There's a sun shelf. I'll show you the other side of it. This is all travertine tile all the way around the surround. It's huge. You could have put, what, 5 tables out there easy, Stacy, and still had room for the grill and everything. It was nuts.
Yeah, you can have a whole outdoor like grill, table and chairs. You can probably put 6 lounge chairs.
Yep.
A little sofa and hangout space, fire pit, everything.
This area right here, that's the entryway to the full bath. So I love homes like that you can walk right into a bathroom from the pool. It's fantastic. There's 3 door walls in the back of this house too, by the way. But love that. And then that also ties into the guest suite. So you don't have to go through the guest suite. I want to make sure that you know that. But the bathroom's here. The guest suite's on the other side, and the bathroom entry is here, and you can kind of do that Jack and Jill type of thing through both sides. It's wonderful how it's set up. But this is one of those properties that just like, you're like, wow, man. So here's a shot of the back of the house. We zoom in a little bit there for you guys, but you can see the sun shelf right here, right in front of you. It's got a water feature. Again, the surround is enormous. Three door walls, one to the master, one to the entry slash family room, if you will, and then one into the kitchen living area as well. Just unbelievable. This property was. It was great. So happy, really excited for the clients on this one. Let me go back to, there's the other shot. This is looking across the other way there. Again, it gives some depth and some understanding. I wish I could show you guys more. This is the shot from the master bedroom. So really, really nice home. Okay. So that's all we can show them of that. But getting into this, we're talking about lifestyle, right? Like, and why we're showing these communities is because just down the road from that property is another development that people are really interested in right now. And it's called Victoria Lakes. So I want to share this with you guys as well, because we have gotten several questions about this community specifically during the live streams, right, Stacy? So I wanted to kind of talk about it. So this is off of Patterson Lake Road, which you can see right here, not too far away from Racetrack and Gun Highway. The property that we're showing you guys is well, I'm going to point it out. Get ourselves in trouble. It's close. It's close in proximity to here. It is only minutes away from Rogers Park and Rogers Lake right there. Okay. So that's, I drove by Victoria's Lake when I was going to do that, but let's talk about Victoria Lakes. And the thing that I want to share about this, this community here is it's a Taylor Morrison home. We've got more than a few clients in these properties as well. We really like them as a builder. They do a good job.
Yeah.
Personally, I'll say that. Professionally as well, we've been impressed with how they deliver and how they approach their sales process. We're happy with that for our clients. But this community here, I think they do an excellent job, Stacy, of showing pricing and what you can expect and lot premiums and things like that. But let's talk about this a little bit. And I'm going to get to some of these comments too really quick. Let's do that real fast, Stacy, before we move forward on this. Okay. Sorry, guys. I just want to make sure that we're on top of things with everybody who's contributing to the conversation. Jason, go Birds, my man. There you go. Hopefully they can beat. I feel like the Chiefs are now becoming the dark side. Nobody wants them to win anymore, right? Like they want them out. So yeah, shout out to you guys. All right. So Green Ranger 1076 says, I was curious if you have any advice. Okay, we might. I don't know that you want it, but we might. I'm about to retire from armed services and looking for advice to buy, rent, or build when we move next year. Yep. That's what we're here for, man. Welcome. I don't remember ever seeing you on the live stream before. Maybe you've contributed, and if you have, please forgive me. But Stacy, do you remember Green Ranger showing up?
I do not. No.
Okay. Well, welcome, man. We're here to help you guys through the process. If you have questions, My phone number is right on the screen. Also, in the chat, you'll find a link to my calendar where you can schedule a time to connect with us directly. Stacy and I will hop on a Zoom call and help you through the process, or help you get started at least, and point you in the right direction. So that's what we're here to do. Okay. Brian says floodplain. Are you asking about the properties that we were looking at? They're going to be above flood elevation, meaning that you will not have to carry it for the property. Even if one of those pieces of land touches the flood zone, which you see the retention pond and you automatically kind of make that association, the house will be above the elevation where it's going to be required. Those ponds are retention ponds. All right. They weren't lakes. So they're designed that way. But good question, man. Good question. All right. Green Ranger says currently in Virginia, and it looks like it'd be a first-time home. Heck yeah, man. Absolutely. Absolutely. Happy to serve you. Also, Madison, who is on our team we were spoken about earlier, she is former Army, and she is now on our team full-time, and, happy to serve our vets and our active military. So you guys just let us know what you need. Happy to help either way. Love it. All right. Does this community have any HOAs, or do they personally wouldn't go in? I wouldn't personally go in. Yeah, absolutely. It has an HOA.
Yeah.
HOAs and CDDs are very common on, I would say, 90% of communities that are built today. The reason that's happening, Tim, is because the cities, counties, and the state no longer builds infrastructure. So they hand those bills over to you and I. If you want something that's been built basically after 1990, it's very difficult to find something without an HOA or CDD. Having no CDD is more common than having no HOA.
Yeah.
Right. But almost all those communities have it. But let's get back into, great question, by the way. Let's get back into the Victoria Lakes. So again, a little bit of perspective on location. Back to the map here. If you zoom out, you'll see now we are on the other side. If we were over here before, Wesley Chapel area up here, a little bit further north, but now we're coming down to the southeast a little bit there. I'm sorry, southwest. Just so everybody knows, I do know my directions, just not today. Southwest into Victoria Lakes, which now you can see this is the north side of Tampa Bay here. And then as you come out here, you've got Palm Harbor, Tarpon Springs, Clearwater Beach to the south on this side, just so you guys can get perspective on where we are in terms of geographic location. Cool. Now let's get over to back over to their website, Stacey, and kind of talk through some of this stuff. All right. So Victoria Lakes, starting from, let me get this out of the way too. Sorry, Tim's comment is, there we go. Starting from 787,999. So $788,000 is where these properties are starting from. So a little bit higher price point than what we just saw out in Vitas Way. But the homes are going to be on average larger. They don't have homes down in the 1,800 range or 1,700s like they did out at Vitas Way. Because I know they had a 1,700 floor plan. 1,708 floor plan was the smallest that I saw out of Vitas Way. But over here, the smallest floor plan you can get is a 2921. So it's almost 3,000 square feet. They're much larger homes. I was out there and I drove it. I'll do a full-length YouTube video for you guys here in the future so you can see this. Get it out there. But the thing I wanted to show on this website, Stacey, we'll get into some of the models and which ones you love and the ones we've sold. St. Croix is awesome. We sold that property. That is a killer floor plan. If you like the Biscayne by West Bay, you're probably going to love the St. Croix as well. All right, or St. Croix. We're getting back into how does it pronounced. Well, let's not do that today.
I would say St. Croix.
All right. We'll take the St. Croix. We'll get into that whole thing too. All right. So here's I think this is really cool because what they did on their website, which I love, is you can see not only the home site plan, which is in front of you there, but on the right side, and I know those columns are a little bit hard to read, you can see the lot premiums. So what we were talking about earlier with everyone else about what these lot premiums can cost, here's a great example. It reminds me of Ticketmaster. Like when you pull up a section and you're like looking through it you're like, oh, those are $1,000 seats, or that's $1,500 seats. It's the same thing here. So lot 39, and it'll pull it up directly. As you can see, it's a preservation lot. So you've got the preserve behind you, the wetland preserve. So no one's building behind you. They can't do it. That is why that lot is so expensive. along with the side. So it's a 75-foot wide, meaning it's 75 feet in frontage. Correct, Stacy?
Yes.
All right. Now the depth, it doesn't give it here specifically, but the floor plans that you can put on here are on here. I love how they do that. But it's available. But the thing I wanted to show you guys, right? That lot premium on that lot specifically is $154,860.
Whoa.
Yep. You can see the one beneath it, 168. So lot 40, which is the one directly next to it, that one is 168,000. Then you got 101, 101, 64, 81 as you go down. And I was just scrolling through this. Now, as you get to the bottom, Stacy, what's interesting here is you got lot 83. Let's go over to that. That one is only $1,700. So this is a great example of what you were talking to. Ooh, that's really sensitive, but let me zoom in here. Okay. So we just looked at a preservation lot, which is what Stacy was talking about earlier, right? With either water views or a big lot where nobody can build behind you versus another 75-foot lot. So it's still the same width across, but it's going to be not as deep typically. And the other thing you're going to have is you're going to be facing and backing up to another property directly. So lot 119, Stacy, when you look at this, that's the lot I wouldn't want more than anything else.
Yeah.
Right? The one that has 81, 82, 83, and 84 and 85 touching it.
Wow.
Right? So like when you look at lots like this is why they're able to charge different amounts. Now, I'm not saying it's everything that you want, right? But these are the type of things that you need to pay attention to. Jen's on with us, Stacy. Oh, this is awesome. Jen, we haven't even talked to you in weeks. I was just out here for you, by the way. This is you're the reason why I went out here. And we were just talking about this. And I'm making a video for this community, and it's because of you. So shout out to Jen and thank you for asking about that. That's awesome. I love that. So Jen's been asking about Victoria Lakes for a while. So shout out to you. They are in full swing out there now. I was just out there, but I love this part about the website. So this is why I'm bringing this up, because again, not everybody does this, Stacy. A lot of them, they want you to come in, then they'll talk about the lots, those types of things. And that's what we're here to do. I'm going to get into some more of these comments. But what I really want is to allow Stacy to talk to her expertise through this, guys, because like, listen, man, I've been in real estate for 12 years. It'll be 13 years in July this year. And in 2 years, this young lady, the hostess with the mostest, has built more new construction homes than I have in that entire time period. She is the best of the best when it comes to this on our team. She sells plenty of resale properties too. I mean, this woman crushed it on our team last year, but I'm telling you, whenever I have new construction, I go directly to her and make sure that we're getting all the things we need. So she's pretty much our new construction czar, if you will. That's the best way to explain it. So I love that. That's great. And thank you, Jen. We appreciate it. We've been, again, we want to get you guys the info in real time when it comes out. But I wanted to say, shout out to you and answer that really quick. A couple more comments we want to get into. Merlin says, good evening, sir. Stacy and Juan are great. They're currently helping me and my family. Very personable and helpful. You're welcome, my man. Thank you for the kind word. It's Stacy. Stacy is the one that you're really referring to. We all know the truth around here, right? It's just like my wife. So one of us has a better half. I'm pretty sure it's not her.
I think Merlin's coming into town here in a couple of weeks. So.
Yeah. Shout out to Merlin. Okay. Yep. And we got to that question. Perfect. All right. So Stacy, let's kind of get back into this a little bit. I'm going to zoom out of this screen because it's super tight right now. Let me zoom out a little bit and let's just kind of talk about the new construction process, if you don't mind. Like, what do people expect? Today, we're showing what you called tier 2 or semi-custom builders, right? Let's walk them through the different scenarios of, we've got a few minutes left. Let's walk them through the different scenarios of contract building, what that means versus a quick move-in, right? Or move-in ready, because these are different terms that you're going to see on the website. Also, interest rates, incentives, the types of things you're seeing right now at the doorstep of the builders.
Yeah. So inventory homes or quick move-in homes are homes that can close in the next 30 to 60 days. And those are the homes where you're going to get the best deal because the builder is wanting to move those property off their books. So they're throwing at you flex cash, which is an incentive that you can use to pay your closing cost, or you can use that to take off the purchase price, or you can use it to pay taxes, whatever comes along with the closing expenses. So they kind of leave that up to you how you want to divvy that up. And then some of them are buying down the interest rate for you on top of giving you those incentives.
Yep.
So those are the best deals that you're going to find out there. If you are wanting to build from scratch, where that means you're going to go pick the home site, you're going to pick the floor plan, and you're going to pick everything on the exterior and interior, then you're going to be looking at, again, depending on the builder, but we're at like 9 to 8 months. Some of those really nice, more upscale builders, like we're looking at Victoria Lakes, could take up to 12 months because the more customization you get to do, the longer it takes to build it.
Yeah, that's a great perspective. And I think that's helpful because that's one of the most common questions we get on our Zoom calls when we're hanging out with you guys is what does the process look like from a timing perspective? And that's important for you to know because if you're someone who really wants new construction in a development like this, there are really a few different ways to go about it, right? If you have the year to wait for the build to get done, then you can, we can help you, determine what lot that's going to be and then start the building process. And you have a lot of flexibility. If you're someone who has to be here on a timeline, that's where things are going to change for you, right? That's where you're going to have to change for them. And the quick move in may be the best option, but you're going to lose some of the flexibility of picking, some of those finishes. And again, there's still going to be great properties, but it just may not be the exact one you would have built. So, but again, I always tell everybody, we all have budgets and and sometimes that budget is not monetary, it's time, right? So like, we got to make something work. So that's another way to do it. Those quick move-ins where it's 30, 60, 90 days out. Now you can kind of reverse engineer. And then last but not least, Stacy, there is always a resale new construction in these developments. Now there may not be in the first 6 months, but almost ultimately, I have yet to be in a community within the first year where a home didn't go up for sale in there.
Yeah,
right?
I was actually just having this discussion with some clients because they're kind of on the fence of new construction or buying a newer home that is being resold. And because Wesley Chapel has had all this growth over the last 10 years, I mean, there are so many communities where you can find homes that were just built last year.
Yep.
That someone's selling because, life happens to people and situations come up where they have to sell for a job or something's happened where, personally they need to sell. So there's more out there than what you would think.
Or they're choosing to, right? Like with Stacy,
Yeah,
the property that one of the very first lots that sold out at Vitas Way was because our clients wanted a bigger lot. Mm-hmm. They're selling their home that they just built 15 months ago. Well, 15 months now, but it was just over a year when we sat down with them, right? On a beautiful conservation lot in Wesley Chapel and Epperson, right? Overlook, there's Osprey Nest over there. Like, it's gorgeous, man. That is a great lot. But the view that they got out at Vitas Way is even better.
Yeah.
And they chose to do that. So they're one of those, the homeowners who decided to sell to upgrade their lifestyle, if you will. Right. Which is funny saying that because where they're at is like it's nothing to shake a stick at.
Yeah. Yeah. Right? And to keep in mind those quick move-in homes, the builders are decorating the interior, like the cabinets and countertops. They're putting the most common things that people are picking in them. So it's not like it's something, gaudy that no one would want. Those are, they're decorating it to what the majority of the people are coming into the design center and picking. So they're really nice. We just got to work on the timing,
Yeah.
Doesn't always work out, but we can always work on it.
That's awesome. And I just got a text message from Wes and Elizabeth. Stacy, he said they can't comment on the channel right now, but he said he can't wait to meet us, right? So shout out to those guys. They were just hanging out in Mexico too. I'm telling y'all, it's a community here, right? So love hanging out with you guys. And Stacy, this has been wonderful. We got more to share. You guys always have great. I'm shocked at how many questions you guys ask. If you're watching this later, do not hesitate to ask us a question in the comment section. I answer all of those comments or questions personally. We don't have a bot or an assistant doing that. Stacy and I go through those and try to make sure we connect with you guys. Again, if you want to connect with us and you have more questions, like don't feel like that's a sales call. That's not what we're here to do. Our role is to be a guide to help people execute the lifestyle they want. That's what we're here for, guys. And we really do approach the process that way. We're here to make sure that you don't step on landmines and get yourself in harm's way, and also lend our expertise where we can to help you execute that dream. So that's what we're here for. So go ahead and take advantage of that. Again, you can text us directly, but the best way to do that is just to schedule a Zoom call. I put that link in the chat. I'll do it again right now for those of you who've never done that. Jump into my calendar. Oh, that's the you don't want that one. That's the one I'm not allowed to share with you guys. Hold on. You're not allowed to see that till Wednesday. I got to get rid of that one. Shoot. No, everybody's running to the comment section right now. It was an accident. I didn't do it on purpose. All right, let me get rid of that. But I will put the link in there so you guys can do that, because I always want to make sure that you guys get the questions answered. We were on a call yesterday with somebody who's considering renting, and you guys know we don't talk about renting on here. It's not that we can't help. It's just not something that we focus on, but we can absolutely help people to do that. And it didn't matter whether they were going to use us or not. I was happy to help. Right. Can't give away all of our time for free, but we're definitely open to helping, you guys make this a reality, because it can be overwhelming. We tell everybody it kind of feels like you're standing on Jello. Right. And our goal here is to really make sure that, you get the best experience possible when it comes to this. Jen Lovett said, take advantage on builder deals and incentives. It's better to be looking once the community is built more. Here's what I'll ask you, going back to what Stacy was talking about right before you walked in the door. What's most important to you, Jen? Is it the specific house, or is it the lot? Because what you typically lose up front, Stacy, is what? The most desirable one.
Yeah. And I think Jen missed the first part of the conversation where we were talking about how much premium was added to a lot that was just 3 lots down. Like in, what did we say, October, it sold for $65,000, and last week it sold for $100,000. Like the builder increased the premium because the demand was so high. And I know Victoria Lakes is another community where people have been waiting.
They're cranking down
for them to open. Like right now they're selling, but they haven't opened their models, and they're only open for appointment only.
Yep.
So that's how high the demand is over there.
Jen, I have not seen you in my calendar yet. So that's how we fix this problem for you. Yeah, I loved all the questions, but like, Stacy's here to do this, right? That's what we're here to do, guys. We're here to help you through this process. So feel free. But yeah, I'm going to get out there and shoot a video, because I want to get a little bit deeper into that community. I like the location of it, in terms of like access to the beach. You're not right around the corner, just for everybody who's wondering. That's not the case, but if you look at Vitas Way as an example, that's going to be an hour and 20 minutes to the beach. If you're going to Clearwater, right? Victoria Lakes, you're probably going to be 45 minutes to 50 minutes. It's going to be, easier sledding, if you will. You're not going across the heavy traffic there. So pros and cons of both, just depends on what you're trying to accomplish. I love both of these communities. Is why we talked about featuring them tonight, and really wanted to dive deeper on that. So hope you guys got value out of that. If you're watching this later and you like us talking about more of these types of communities, please let us know. That's how we build these live streams, is based upon your guys' feedback. again, we make our YouTube videos that go on Saturday based upon that as well. So thank you for your feedback and your comments during these. Green Ranger, my man. You jumped right in the calendar. I love that. So I'll see you Saturday morning at 10:30, sir. That's fantastic. And thanks for your service, of course. Right. So happy to connect with you, and y'all take advantage of that. We're here to help. This young lady probably sat, what, I don't even know. If I had 300 calls last year, you probably had 75 to 100 of them.
Oh, yeah.
Marcia sat, 50 to 75. I mean, it was crazy time last year, the amount of people that reached out to us. So we are starting to see the market pick up again. I wouldn't say it's crazy, but it was really slow in October and November. We shared that with you guys, but all of a sudden the snowbirds are back in town. Things are starting to pop. So, property we had sitting on the market for 60 days, all of a sudden in one weekend had multiple offers. So it's crazy to think that. Jen says, haha, sorry, our timeline is a little uncertain due to the transfer of my fiance's job. So a little bit that's all good. All good. But remember how far that is going to be out. That was the thing that Stacy was talking about when before you walked in, was like the timeline of how long that's going to take. So if you're going to pick the lot, you're going to be a year. Right. Taylor Morrison goes, what, 13 months? What are they quoting right now, Stacy?
They're like 12, at least 12 months.
Yeah.
I mean, I know when we sold some last summer, it was longer than that. It was a little over a year.
Yep. West Bay's 9 to
12.
12, yeah, somewhere around in there. So going pretty quick. But yeah, Jen, happy to help, of course. And when the time is right, just let us know. All right, Stacy, it was an excellent evening. We didn't get into the other 5 things we had on there, but I will say this. I'll post this in the community. YouTube has a community post. I'll post in there some of those news things that I don't get to feature on the stories here that I do think are valuable if you're going to live in the area. There's an article talking about Michelin-starred restaurants, and y'all know me. I love to talk about food on this channel. We didn't even talk about food tonight, so that makes me upset. And then also we've got a really cool event coming and taking place, Stacy. And let me just cover this before we shut it down. We do have the there is a, where are we? There is a historic women's soccer match set for the Tampa waterfront in March. And I think this is really cool. So the Tampa Bay Sun FC, which is a football club, soccer for us Americans. Stacy's family grew up in this world. So I think it's important to note, but it is taking place on March 2nd at 6 p.m. And it's at the Riverfront Stadium, which is at Blake High School. But the location is so good, Stacy. Let me share this with the community. Y'all, if you've been on this channel ever before, I talk all the time about Armature Works and the restaurants there. I knew we'd get the food eventually. So Steelbach is one of my favorite steakhouses. It's there. Ulele, which is, you have to have the baked oysters. I'm not even an oyster fan. You got to have it. It's unbelievable. Both of those are right there. It's right across. And that's the beginning of the River Walk. So you can walk from there all the way around Tampa, go past Curtis Hickson Park, all the way over to where the cruise ships are in the port. And it's unbelievable. The walk that you can walk past the Strat Center. It's just such a beautiful walk, whether it's at night or during the day. I've never felt unsafe either way. It's gorgeous. And the high school is right across from Armature Works right there, right here. It's called Blake High School. It's a really cool view there. And the Riverfront Stadium is right there. So that soccer game, the football match, will be right there. So I thought that was a pretty cool thing to share. Even if you're not a huge fan of women's sports for whatever reason, I still think it's going to be a cool event. I'm probably going to get tickets and take my daughter because I think that that's going to be really cool. And it's an excuse to go to Steelbach, which you have been to before, right? Am I wrong?
No, it was fabulous, hands down. Yeah,
the service is great. We've been fortunate enough to have like the same server the last 10 times we went, not even asking. I wonder if she requests us. I don't consider ourselves to be that. Like, we got to be obnoxious. I don't know. It just seems weird, but like, man, it was great. We took the whole team out there. We got to hang out with Steven and Josie. right? Which was awesome, and break bread with those guys. But you guys know I love recommending the food places we go eat, and we have spent a lot of money at Steelbach over the last 6 years. And I am not mad about it. My wife loves it. So do I. I think you guys will enjoy it. So if you guys get a chance to go out there, do that. But this is a really cool thing. So you can get the tickets at tampabaysunfc.com. And again, it's going to take place Sunday, March 2nd at 6 p.m. So that'll be a great, really cool. I'm excited for that. And they're going against the Gotham FC. That's their opponent. So that should be a pretty cool event, Stacey. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm all for it.
Awesome. Guys, love hanging with you every Tuesday night. Thank you for making it so fun for us. Thanks for all the feedback, the comments, the questions. And thanks for trusting us, most importantly. I cannot stress enough how grateful we are. I know we say it every time, but I don't want to ever lose that feeling. And we're grateful to serve. This is the way we get to do it. And I'm proud to share this space with Stacey, who has been, just a rock solid team member at my side. We got to talk about Marsha, which is never a bad day. Love that. Fantastic that we're able to do that. And pretty soon we're going to introduce you to a few new members of the team as well. Because of you, we continue to grow, which is, I still trying to wrap my mind around that as well. So thank you guys for trusting us the way that you do. I cannot believe that we have as many people to serve as we do. It went from me running around with the GoPro, just trying to share the city with you guys, to now you're telling me what videos I'm making every week. And, we're connecting as a community here. So thank you so much for trusting in us. And as we say every single time and always, go out
and live that Tampa life.
Absolutely. We'll see you guys on the flip side. See you next Tuesday. Have a great weekend. Check that house out. I'm telling you, that house in Odessa this weekend is going to blow your mind. You got to check it out. Later, guys. Have a great night.
Night.